In this problem, we need to graph a parabola, and it's not an easy equation for us to deal with. We're going to do this by putting it in what's called vertex form. So down here, we have y equals a times this quantity x minus h squared plus k. If we can wrangle this equation into this form, then this value h is going to be the x coordinate of the vertex, and the value k is going to be the y coordinate of the vertex. Once we've got the vertex, plotting the parabola becomes pretty easy. So let's see what this entails here. There are a couple of steps. First of all, we're going to factor this leading coefficient out of this chunk right here. The x squared term and the x term are the two pieces that we're most concerned with. The number term we can just leave hanging off the end for the time being. But I'm going to go ahead and factor out a negative 2/3. So we just have a plain old x squared here. So we're going to have y equals negative 2/3 times the quantity x squared, and we'll factor out 2/3 here. This is going to be, oops, I factored out a negative 2/3, so plus 10x. And then we have our negative 56/3 still hanging out over here. The next thing we want to do is complete the square here, because we want to make this this square work in this form here. So we need to find this value x plus or minus something that we can square and put in place of this. So when we complete the square, what we do is we take this x term and we divide it by 2. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. And then we get this value, x, oops, not x squared, just x plus 5 quantity squared. When you FOIL that out, you'll get x squared plus 10x plus 25. So that's going to be our perfect square, and what we did was we had to add 25 in here. So if I remove that, replace it with this, what we've done is we've added, well, we haven't actually added 25. We've added 25 times a negative 2/3. So what is 25 times a negative 2/3? That would be a negative 50/3. So if I've added a negative 50/3, I need to counterbalance that by putting in a positive 50/3 over here. Okay, so let me rewrite this. That's a lot of steps at once. What I have now is y equals negative 2/3 times our square here, x plus 5 squared. To get that value, we had to complete the square by adding in 25 to it. Really, we added in 25 times negative 2/3 to the whole equation. And to balance that, I put in a positive 50/3, which is 25 times negative 2/3, over here. So I've got y equals a negative 2/3 times our quantity x plus 5 squared. And then let's simplify this. 56, negative 56/3 plus 50/3, that's going to be a negative 6/3, or a negative 2. So we've completed the square, and we've succeeded in putting this equation in the vertex form. So the coordinates of our vertex are negative h, k, so negative 5, comma, negative 2. That is our vertex. Let's go ahead and plot that. So negative 5, negative 2, right there. And if we look at our parabola, if the original equation, we know we've got a negative coefficient. So this is going to be a downward opening parabola. So it should sweep downward on either side like that. What I like to do is take a point to the left and a point to the right, and just set up a table here and see if we can get some solutions for some values. So let's plug in a negative 4 and a negative 6 for x. Let's try negative 4 first. Here's x, here's y. And let's just plug them into this equation. So here, a negative 4 in for x would put a 1 inside here. Negative 4 plus 5 is 1. 1 squared is 2. We multiply that by a negative 2/3. Sorry, 1 squared is not 2. 1 squared is 1. So that's a negative 2/3 minus 6/3. So that's a negative 8/3. And the value for our -6 should be the same. You'd get a 1 squared here times the -2/3 minus 6/3. So that would be a -8/3. Let's see if we can plot those. So -4 and 8/3 is almost a -3. So something like that, and then over here as well. All right, and let's try one more to the left and right. So that would be a -3 and a -7. And these should have the same y values as well. So let's plug in a -3 here. -3 plus 5 is 2. 2 squared is 4. So that's a -8/3 minus 6/3. So that's going to be a -14/3. And same for the -7. So a -3 and a -14/3. So that's almost a -5. So right about there. And same over here. Okay, so we can see our parabola taking shape now. And with these set of points, these 5 points, we can just go ahead and sketch in our approximation. Like so. So that is a little bit of work with graphing a parabola where you need to put it in vertex form, completing the square to do that in order to graph it.